Welcome to another episode of our budget-friendly Gold Star recipes. And today what we're doing is, I saw this in one of the local supermarkets. It's a mixture of beef and pork. So minced beef and pork. So I thought this would be a lovely thing to do, a very simple beef, pork and potato pie. All right. So the potato for this one is just sliced potatoes. And I've just steamed these for a little while. You don't have to. You could slice them and pan fry them as well if you want for a little bit. But I'm going to put these directly on top with some melted butter, and I'm going to even brush a little bit of egg on them so they'll get a nice colour on top when they're in the oven, all right? Again, these are handy dishes that you do quickly on top, finish in the oven, you can be tidying up, and then you're ready to serve from one dish, all right? So for this one, like I said, I have the minced beef and pork here. I have the sliced potatoes. I have some diced onion. I have a small little bit of sage and thyme here mixed, and I just made 200. Well, actually, it's more than that. It's about 250 millilitres of gravy. All right. I have my big frying pan again, and I'm going to use a full frying pan of butter on this one. All right. So I'll put that on there to melt, and then I'm going to put on this frying pan here as well, and we're going to start this one off. This is a very quick dish, very easy to do, and very tasty. And for this one, it doesn't have any tomatoes or anything. It has something different in it. All right. So, like I said, we're using the gravy here as our sauce, kind of. So I think it will be very tasty. Could be just as nice too with a tin of tomatoes and no gravy. Like I told you, these recipes are for you to maybe learn to cook if you're learning to cook. But if you can already cook, you know, you can change. That might give you an idea to do something else. All right. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and to comment if possible. And if you'd like us to do something, put it in the comments and we'll try and do it. All right. Now, so my pan is on here for my butter melting. I'm going to put this frying pan on, full heat, and I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in here. I'm going to add my onions. So that's about 2 small onions diced. My butter here, that will melt now for me in that just when I want it. So I'm just going to turn that off. Now that's off. You can sit there. The heat of the cast iron pan actually will help that to cook. In this one here, I have my onions. I just want to get that kind of flavour going there. And a little bit of heat, and you can hear it starting to sizzle now. So I can take my favourite wooden spoon in the whole world, which is nearly at an end. But I love it the way it's square at the top here. So now, and again, there's no garlic in this one, just for this one, because that, you don't have to have garlic and everything. But if you wanted to, you could put it in. All right. So again, the little bit of paper here on the back, take that off. And again, what we're looking to do here is to break this up. You can see the strings the way it came out of the machine. So we're going to look to just let this cook down. It's also going to have about 20 minutes, 30 minutes cooking time in the oven. Now I'm going to leave it alone now for a minute. And what I'm going to do is just put this little lid on top. And that's going to help seal it up. This gravy I have, it's made about an hour. This is just going to help. I'll add some of this to the mix. I won't maybe add all of it. I'll see what I need. And I'll keep some for later if I want to put in a bit later on when it comes out. If I think it's maybe a bit dry or anything, I can pour some in at the corner, put it back in the oven for a minute. But I'll wait and see. So you kind of have to use your judgment when you're doing some things, right? Don't follow recipes blindly, all right? They don't always work as well, some people I find with some recipes. Now, mine are all perfect, right? Just so you know. And they work perfectly. But oftentimes, I do maybe overestimate the amount of liquid I'll need or whatever. So I always keep an eye on that myself. And a chef I used to work with one time, he said, it's better to be looking at it than looking for it. All right? Now, this is breaking up nicely. Again, this was really very reasonable to buy. because, you know, the pork makes it cheaper, right? So you'll see that reflected in the price at the bottom of the recipe. I'm just dropping some of this thyme and sage in here. I think that's enough. You can smell that now. We've included the cost, and what we've done is we've kind of costed this over 4 supermarkets, right? 4 of the major supermarkets here in Ireland. But I mean, like, you know yourself what this will cost if you were looking at it, and whether you're in America or Australia, Canada. You know, if you're used to buying groceries, you can easily judge what this will cost for yourself to make. All right. And while I've costed, I've just looked mostly at the big ingredients, and I've put in a small summary kind of sum, or for the smaller stuff that you always have, like you always have salt, you always have pepper. Do you know what I mean? But like you have to buy them at some stage. But so I put in a nominal figure for all that kind of stuff. And you know, you might buy a full tub of herbs, but sure, you might use that in 20 dishes. You know what I mean? All right. So, and remember, if you want to use, I'm using dried herbs. If you want to use fresh herbs, by all means, go ahead. But you'll have to double the amount of herbs to get the flavour. And remember, they're expensive enough. I was looking at this from a budget point of view. So, now what I'm going to do here is just add this gravy. So this is gravy. Now I've deliberately made this a little bit thick, because I knew there would be fat and juices from the beef and the pork. All right, so this is looking good. Now I'm going to turn this down a small bit. And you'll see straight away how quick induction is. That went from being sort of boiling to almost burning, just to now it's simmering. So induction cookers are great, but it doesn't matter what you're cooking on, you still have to know how to cook. So, and the only way you'll know how to cook is to practice. I'm just going to add a small bit more gravy in there. Have my little enamel dish here. So my potatoes, like I said, they're still a little bit hard. You couldn't eat them this way. They're just kind of par cooked. But you could just saute these from raw and then put them on top, and that would be kind of something similar. You'd have a nice caramelization on top. I'm hoping that the butter and the egg will give me that caramelization on top. These are rooster potatoes I was using, so they're nice and floury. So they'll also soak up some of the juice from the meat underneath. I swear I counted these out, but honestly, I didn't. I'm just going to put a bit of butter on this. I'm not even going to brush it on. I'm just going to dribble it on. That'll do. I was going to use some egg wash, but I'm not. It looks lovely the way it is. So what I'm going to do on the top is just put a little sprinkle of sea salt, just a small sprinkle on top, to give it a little bit of crunch when you get it. Small little bit from the pepper mill. I actually had the tomato puree in with the gravy, because I find it mixes better, all right, than if you're just putting it in with a small amount of minced meat and stuff. So I actually put that into the gravy, and I whisked that into the gravy. And so just in case you think I forgot, all right. So now I'm going to put this into the oven. The oven is going to be, what temperatures did I say on the thing? I said 175 for 25 minutes. And then see if we need to do it any further after that. So this is set now. I'll put this in. That's lovely. And there we go. So this is our minced beef, pork and potato pie. And you can see the way the potatoes have crisped up lovely with the butter on them. And you can see a little bit of salt and pepper there on top as well. And the meat underneath is still lovely and juicy. Look, you can see the steam coming up. You can see the juice, look. So this is quite a nice dish. I was doing half the recipe. It's just divide this in 2 or divide it in 3. It's really up to yourself, because I think it's probably a 2-portion dish, because the meat underneath it is not really that deep, and there's not a lot of vegetables in there. There's only the onions, the herbs, and the gravy. All right, and a little bit of tomato puree with the gravy. So for this one, you can see the potatoes, look, they're beautiful and tender because we give them a little steam beforehand. But it's the same thing too. If you don't want to steam them, just give them a little saute in your pan. You'll get that lovely colour even before you start. And then you can, but still put some butter on them for flavour. And you'll end up with a nice dish. So that's our minced beef and pork potato pie. And you can take it up like this. And then you can eat a lovely slice of that. Okay? Now it's absolutely roasting because it's out of the oven. So we're going to let it rest for a few minutes. But you can see there, the meat, the juice, everything in it is really nice. Okay? So remember, like, subscribe, comment, try and make this at home, or make your version of it, and let us know how it turned out. All right? Okay, bye.